All right. Welcome, everybody. Good to see everyone. Happy Saturday. Thank you for tuning in for a very special edition of our Saturday launch training. We've got some extra bonus content for those of you that are here to start the morning off. We're going to talk about the Bahamas. As most of you are aware from all of the emails and communications that have gone out this week, our room block officially has to be released on Monday. Now, what does that mean? That means that it is still possible to register for the Atlantis. The deposit program will end on Monday. So now going forward, you will have to pay the price in full for our discounted rate. So there will be no more deposits. It'll only be if rooms are available. So what does that mean? Well, that means that you want to do everything you can this weekend to talk to your people, talk to your guests, because remember, we announced last week that we're allowing you to bring guests on a member only trip for the first and probably only time ever. We realized that this was going to give people a glimpse into what a bucket list trip should be, right? Because what we found out the last time we went was that almost everybody there had never been to the Atlantis. And in my opinion, and I've said this many times, and those of you that have been on the trainings and the meetings, you've heard me talk about this, but I've been all over the world and, over 70 countries. And I've stayed in some of the nicest hotels. I mean, I've stayed at the Peninsula Hotel in Singapore, where they have the pool on the top level, the three towers, and I've stayed at the Peninsula in Hong Kong. I've stayed at the Mandarin Oriental in New York City. I've stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, the Four Seasons. I mean, I've stayed at the Atlantis in Dubai. Which just opened a new tower a couple years ago that have been called the nicest rooms in all of Dubai. And I'm telling you that the Atlantis is the most famous resort in the world on the planet. Like for a single property, single destination, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about the Atlantis in Dubai or whether you're talking about the Atlantis in the Bahamas. When you say the Atlantis, people automatically assume either you're talking about the Lost City or you're talking about the hotel. I mean, it is the most famous hotel in the world, in my opinion. So, our idea was really simple. How can we get more people exposed to our culture and what we're building at Bryte Lyfe and help you build your business and also give you a reason to reach out to your friends? See, I think the biggest mistake that we oftentimes make is that a lot of times, all of us, myself included, we take the path of least resistance, meaning we kind of do whatever the bare minimum is. Like it's just easier and natural to just kind of try to do it your own way, and not really do it the way that's the most efficient and also will probably produce the best results. Because people like to do things that are comfortable. People don't like to be uncomfortable and get out of a normal routine. And so, since for most people that are part of Bryte Lyfe, we have a lot of members and influencers that have never done network marketing before, that have never built a team before, or if they have done it, maybe they haven't had a lot of success. And I'm convinced that if you treat Bryte Lyfe like you treat your life, if you do it the same way, and you don't make it weird, and you don't make it awkward, and you don't make it salesy, and you don't try to sell, if you just try to be yourself, if you just try to help, because naturally, I mean, when we started World Ventures in 2005, all right, our goal was to travel the world with our friends. That was where the concept of dream trips came from back in 2005, because we all wanted to travel. We all wanted to see the world. And the idea is that if we could get people to want to go where we wanted to go, like-minded people that would be fun, we could travel as a group, we could get better deals. This was 20 years ago now, because that was the very beginning of internet travel. And so people didn't have access to all the things that they have access to now in terms of booking travel online. There was only one travel website back then, and it was Expedia, and then Travelocity came. But that was the beginning. That was the genesis, because Microsoft actually started Expedia. Expedia was really the first travel booking website. Then they spun it off, and then things grew from there. But when we started it in 2005, the idea was if we could just get people to go together and we could all go have fun, then we could build this exciting business around going and taking trips with people that you cared about. And so the problem I think that we do a lot of times in this business is that we complicate it. We try to make it about the business. We try to make it about rank. We try to make it about goals. We try to make it about income. And so then it comes off as awkward or staged or salesy. I've been trying to help some of you with your social media posts, and I love that y'all are trying. I've sent several of you messages about what you're posting, because in my opinion, when you post things that are uber salesy, when you're like really selling, like I'm in this cool travel club, it's so awesome, it's so great. To me, that sounds salesy, because if I was inviting my friends to go with me to the Atlantis, I'm not inviting them with a mass post. I'm not inviting them with a group post. The whole thing that Melanie was talking about last week in the training is just getting some extra exposure and attention on your business. But what happens is people replace that with the activity that's producing results. So they think, okay, I'm working because I just posted what Melanie told me to post. And then they sit back and like wait for people to like knock down their door. I'm just telling you, okay? I am telling you that I've been doing this now for almost 30 years. And I have never posted a post like a lot of you have posted and had people just coming to me knocking down my door to sign up. It's not happened. In fact, I would bet that probably 99% of the thousands of people that I've personally recruited, and my team in World Ventures was 365,000. So now, and then I put 100,000 people into my TLX program. So at this point, I've built personal teams with my teams, my products, my work, 500,000 people. So of those 500,000 people, I can bet you that probably less than 1% of them came from a public post, came from something that I posted on social media. See, the whole idea of learning social media is extra. It's gravy. It's bonus. It doesn't replace what really should be your mentality and what really is the beauty of what we have with Bryte Lyfe. Because the problem is that if you really wanted one of your friends to come with you to the Bahamas, do you think, I'm just going off of me. If I was planning a guy's trip, or if you're planning a girl's trip, or a couple's trip, or whatever, you're not going to go post a group chat, because the people that you're traveling with, the people that you want to travel with, you probably don't want all of the people on your social media page to see it. I've never organized a trip like that. I have posted about taking people to the Kentucky Derby because a lot of people have reached out to me over the years and they know I go every year. And so I've made some posts. Hey, I'm getting a group together for the Derby. If anybody's interested, it's an expensive event. Even with my hookups and the deals that I get, it's a $3,000 to $5,000 ticket for the weekend where I sit. It includes food and drinks. And so, if we get a bigger group, some of the tables have minimums. So it's an 8 top or it's a 12 top. One year I had a 16 top. And so I have to have that many people. And so because it's an expensive ticket, I've done that. But literally, I've been doing this for 30 years. That's the only time I can think that I've ever posted anything publicly in terms of inviting someone to come with me somewhere. Think about it, right? How many of you probably have ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, people that you don't like, but you're acquaintances with them, you're friends with them? I would not want some of those people that I'm friends with on social media to be with me in the Bahamas. Let's be real. I have exes. They don't all live in Texas, contrary to the popular song. I don't want them to come to the Bahamas. So when you think about posting what was supposed to be extra last week, and then basically thinking to yourself, well, I've done my work for the week. I've done what I need to do, and I'm just going to sit here and wait for all these sales and all these signups of all these people that want to go to the Bahamas. That's just simply not going to happen. And it's evidenced by the many of you that are still not registered yourself and that don't have people on your team that are registered. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is this weekend, you have an opportunity to go to the Bahamas for free. Okay. We've made a contest where tomorrow night we're going to give away a stay, a 4-day, 3-night stay for two. So the $1,000 trip is going to be given away tomorrow night on the Zoom. Now, any first time guests, they're automatically eligible for the drawing. But as a member or an influencer, in order to get into the drawing tomorrow night, you have to have a guest on the Zoom. Okay. Now, the benefit for you as an influencer and a member, and all of you that are listening to this training right now are getting a massive head start, is that we're going to give you a chance in the drawing for every guest you have on the Zoom tomorrow night. So, what does that mean? That means that we have basically just given you an automatic get people onto the Zoom. It's automatic. Okay. So if you literally would just take the next 36 hours and start in the A's in your phone and literally just call through, because here's the thing. Nobody wants to be herded like cattle or like sheep. They don't want to be sold. They don't want to be in a group. They don't want to feel indifferent. They don't want to feel like the masses. People want to feel included. I'm going through this right now. This starts at a very young age. I'm going through this with my daughter. You know, she's a sophomore in high school. And because of social media these days, we didn't have to deal with that. Kids are mean. And at the end of the day, everyone, myself included, we all want to feel included. We want to feel invited. And here's what I'll tell you. Posting on social media does not make anyone feel included or invited. Okay. When you reach out to someone, if it was that important, if it mattered, and if you're going to ask them for 20 or 30 minutes of their time to listen to something that could potentially benefit them and also potentially benefit you, I mean, is that not worth a phone call? Is that not worth a direct personal message? And if you normally text with your friends, I think it's okay to text individually, right? And it needs to be personal. And you need to think about who you would like to be with in the Bahamas. I want you to take this trip mentally, and I want you to go, if I was organizing the trip, so put yourself in my shoes essentially, right? You're organizing the trip. This is your Bahamas trip. Who would you want to be with? Who do you want to have there? Who would be fun? Who would be entertaining? Who would be the life of the party? Who is well traveled? But who do you think might need a vacation? You're going to have friends and family that are overworked, underappreciated. They're never going to go to the Atlantis for less. I was looking at some flights yesterday from the East Coast. A lot of you guys are in the South or on the East Coast. I was seeing flights for $300. Okay, 300 bucks, 400 bucks from the East Coast, from Florida. I mean, I saw some that were less than $400. So it is not too late for you to make these plans. And we also announced this week that we're allowing you to book your flights. And then if you have travel dollars, you can submit your receipt for your flight and we will reimburse you with your travel dollars. So think about this for a second. Let's say you're not even signed up yet for the Bahamas, but you take the next 36 hours until that Zoom tomorrow night, okay, at 9 o'clock Eastern PM, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific tomorrow night, which is exactly 1 hour after our corporate call. And I'm going to talk about a couple of these things tomorrow night on the corporate call. We also have a new vendor, a new partner, that's a new benefit that we're going to be announcing tomorrow night. So you definitely don't want to miss that. So we're going to have a guest on our corporate call tomorrow from a company that has got an incredible benefit that I have never seen before that I personally am going to take advantage of. I think you're going to like it. So we're doing that tomorrow night. And then you'll go right into that Zoom tomorrow night. So think about this for a second. You've got 36 hours with a guaranteed invite. Because here's the thing. Nobody's going to turn down 20 minutes for a trip to the Bahamas. You don't have to give them all the details. You don't have to give them all the specific, okay? and you have the opportunity to invite. Now, let me explain something to you, okay? I think that the majority of people have a limiting belief. You have stinking thinking, okay? And what I mean by that is because you're already in a point where you've learned that you're not life for 300 or you're not life for 800, and you think that takes months or weeks to be able to achieve that. Let me just tell you something. That is not the truth. That is not the case. That is stinking thinking. The reason I tell you that is because Travis Sammy, who just hit life for 800 in under 1 month, he's never done network marketing before. The sad thing is, I love Travis. His energy is contagious. That's why he's winning. But here's the thing. He doesn't even know where everything is in the website. I was having to help him log in the other day because he had changed his password and saved it differently on the app versus the web, and he couldn't get into the app. So, I mean, here's a guy who's already life for 800 and he's having problems just logging in. He's an everyday guy. He has a full-time job. So he did this around a full-time job, no experience, but just got excited. But here's the difference between Travis and most everybody else is that he was not thinking, I want to hit life for 800. He just went out and made lots of personal. Okay, here's the thing I want to point out to you. He made lots of personal introductions. He works with a lot of people. He's signed up a lot of people from work. He's signed up his friends that have seen him travel because he has traveled and people know that he's traveled. And so one of the things that he told his friends and contacts when he invited them and talked to them personally was, I have figured out a way to do even more of what I love, and I want you to be able to experience it too. See, this is the thing. When you lead with your heart, when you come from pure emotional value, like you really want to help people, do you really believe it? Do you really believe what we have can change someone's life? Do you really believe we can help people see the world? I mean, how can you possibly, okay? How can you possibly, I want to show you this again. I mean, you see it, but I want to show you this. For those of you that haven't seen the bucket list trip.
Stop. This is where we're sleeping? Oh my god!
Perfect bodies in the shallow blue, drifting faster than they should. Golden hour paints a dreamlike view. Even dreams start fading too. I am leaving, tell me what to do. I can feel us slipping away, treading water, yeah, what?
Now, I mean, I don't know how you could see that and listen to Danielle's reaction when she walked into the room. This is one of our founding members who went to the Maldives, who, by the way, this was the top thing on her bucket list. And then say that we're not changing lives, not just with the business and the income and the opportunity, but the bucket list and everything we're doing. And people keep telling me, they keep saying, Wes, what if, could we make it a 3-star hotel and do it for like 5 days and 4 nights? Because, I want to go somewhere for 5 days and 4 nights. Awesome. Great. Yeah. Some people have done that. A lot of people have taken a trip for 5 days and 4 nights to Gulfport, Mississippi, or Gulf Shores, or to 30A, or Watercolor, or Miami, or Vegas, or whatever. Yeah, they've been and they've stayed in a regular hotel, but that's not like a once in a lifetime. That's not a, I've waited my entire life. I mean, we've got people that have waited their entire lives. They're 40, 50, 60, 70 that have never been to somewhere like this. We want this to reset someone's total mentality, experience. And so that's what we're trying to do. So when you think about it from that perspective, you've got an opportunity to help the people that you care about most with changing their life financially, from an experience standpoint, my parents got divorced when I was very young. I was 11 years old, almost 12 when my parents got divorced. And we didn't get to take vacations. Okay. My dad had his own business and worked basically 7 days a week. He was gone most of the times when I got up in the morning, and he would be still at work when I went to bed as a child, most of the time. And my mom also worked. And then once my parents were divorced, I was in two single parent households, single income households. So I never saw them. And they did that to provide for us, but that also meant that we didn't get to take vacations. I've told everybody this. I was never even on an airplane until I was in college. I'd never been on an airplane. I didn't even get my passport until after 9/11, because I had only been to Mexico and on a cruise, and I had traveled to Costa Rica on a student visa. Those are the only three times I had left the United States, other than to Canada, across the border at Niagara Falls through the direct sales company that I worked with during college. So four times I'd been out of the country, but only with my birth certificate, because before 9/11, you could go to the Caribbean and Canada with just your driver's license. This is before 9/11. So I didn't even have a passport until I was 23. And then from 23 to now I'm 47. So in 24 years. So in the first 23 years, basically no travel. The last 24 years, 70 countries. I need to count and see where I'm at, 80. But this has all happened because of me changing my mentality, and going to Costa Rica and experiencing that was what really made me fall in love with travel. And so I know that the experiences that I've had have shaped my life and have taught me so much. And I had one vacation as a child before my parents were divorced. And I was probably 9. My brother and sister, we were very close in age. So my brother was like 8, my sister was like 6. And we drove from Texas to Orlando. We had a Suburban. My dad was super cheap and thrifty, and so we didn't fly. We drove from Texas to Orlando, and we went to Disney World. And I still remember that vacation as if it was yesterday. I can tell you the things we did. After we finished at Disney, we drove to Daytona Beach, Florida, because you just shoot over on the highway. It was the first time I had seen the ocean in person in my life. I had never seen the ocean before. I'd only seen it on TV. So, here I am, almost, 10 years old, and I had never seen the ocean. I can still remember. I remember the hotel that we stayed at. We stayed at the Holiday Inn in Daytona Beach. I was like 9 years old. And I can still remember this trip like it was yesterday. And so I don't think people really understand the power of what we're doing and what we're giving to people and the opportunity that we're creating. And I think that if people would just lead with that, if you would lead with your heart, and you would literally sit down today and tomorrow and just start in the A's. And look, if there's somebody you want to skip that you don't want to see in the Bahamas, skip them. But people do not want to be herded. They do not want to be like sheep or cattle. They want to feel included. They want to feel invited. In fact, a company that we've been negotiating with to provide benefits, that's the name of their company. They're the largest corporate owned facility of country clubs in the world. And they're based here in Dallas. Eva worked for them for 20 years. It used to be called Club Corp. They changed their name to Invited. I love that name. I love the name Invited because people want to feel invited. And a group text, a group message, a public post on Facebook, that's not making people feel invited. That's meant to be extra. It's meant to be some extra gravy, window dressing, and to kind of get the word out. But that is not a replacement for the fundamental part of this business, which is getting on your phone and calling through your contacts and inviting them to tomorrow night. And so here's your opportunity. I believe, and here's the thing. If my previous company, so when I started in the industry 21 years ago, when I started, I was just naive enough to everything my mentor told me. Mike Asquay, who was my mentor in the business, who signed me up for my first company, that I met him through some friends from the direct sales industry, because I had worked with Cutco Knives for 7 years. I was the top guy there. And so when I left, there were people that were trying to recruit me to other direct sales companies. I had a lot of opportunities. I went to Australia for 6 months and ran an entire company for an importer in Australia and New Zealand for a direct sales company. And so I ran the whole thing. They wanted me to be the CEO and president and stay, but I didn't want to stay in Australia back then. I had a condo in Miami Beach, and so I wanted to get back home. I had a lot of opportunities, and I met Mike Asquay, and he mentored me and taught me about the industry. And everything Mike told me, I just did because I didn't know any better. I didn't have any of this stinking thinking. I didn't have any of these preconceived notions. And Cutco, we called it the bubble. I felt like I was in the bubble because I think a lot of people, when they try to do it their way, or when they try to just do it the easy way, posting and just doing group messages, not taking the time to really sit down and really do it the way people want to be treated and really make them feel important and invited. But Mike told me, he said, Wes, he said, your thing is that you should never come to meetings alone. You should never go to a meeting alone. If you're ever at a meeting alone, it reflects poorly on you to everybody else who's there and to all of your team, because you should be leading by example. You should always have guests there. And so Mike lived it and breathed it. He was always on the phone. He was always recruiting. I remember one time I was in the car with him. I had just met him and just gotten signed up, and he's like, hey, we got to drive to Houston. Do you mind driving? I have a bunch of calls to make on the way. And literally the entire drive from Dallas to Houston, he was on the phone. The phone was never down. As soon as the call was over, he dialed somebody else. He was inviting all the way up until we walked in the room. So we were 30 minutes out, and he was still inviting for that night to try to get people there that night. Because here's the thing, last minute invites are some of the best. And I saw this firsthand, because if you get a hold of somebody 20 minutes before a Zoom and you say, hey, what are you doing in 20 minutes? And they say nothing. Say, dude, do you want to go to the Bahamas with me? You can get a trip tonight to the Bahamas. The owner of the company's lost his mind. He's basically sending people to the Bahamas for free. It's crazy. You got to get on this. I want you to be in the Bahamas. When is it? What's the deal? No. I don't have time for that. I got to call a couple of other people. Just go to this website tomorrow night, or in 30 minutes. Go to zoomviproom.com. And here's the other thing we'll do. This is something that I just remembered. You can use this Zoom for tomorrow night. I will forward the same link. So you can use this one for tomorrow night. You can use freetripzoom.com. Okay, so I'll put it in the chat too, so you've got it. I'll have to redirect it as soon as I'm off of here, so it'll be ready for when you guys start using it later today. I'll have it set up, but it's free trip. This is a domain I own. freetripzoom.com. Okay, so you can use that for tomorrow night. So it's easy. And look, here's the other thing that I learned from my mentor. He also told me to, if you're in a hurry, if you're excited, if your energy is high, when you get on the phone with people, they match your energy. So if you call your friend, you're like, hey, listen, bro, hey, do you have a second? Okay, look, I'm in a hurry. I'm excited. Like, I need you tomorrow night. I want you to come to the Bahamas with me. You could come for free. You don't have to pay. You can literally come, stay at the hotel at the Atlantis for free, but I need you on this Zoom. It's super important. And see, here's the thing. If you knew that this is your opportunity to get everyone who answers. I mean, the reality is that everyone who answers your call, and this is why I call, because if you're used to texting and you call somebody, they're going to answer because that's out of the ordinary. So they're going to pick it up. And if they don't answer, say, listen, hey, it's really important. Call me back. You need to treat it with urgency, because this is the only time we're doing this. We haven't done this. We're not going to do this. This is an opportunity. It's a guarantee. So here's what I'll tell you. When I used to have opportunities like this, and Mike would run special meetings, and I've said this in trainings, like Mike came to my hometown of Amarillo, Texas, and Lubbock, Texas. I grew up in West Texas. And my mentor, Mike, once I got a little bit of a nucleus going, he's like, look, I'm going to come do a meeting for you in Amarillo. I'm going to come do a meeting for you in Lubbock. Because he was coming, literally, from the time he told me, From the moment he told me he was coming to Lubbock and Amarillo, I did not set my phone down. I don't know if he gave me a week's notice, 5 days notice, 6 days notice, but I was literally calling people for 5 days straight. I called every single person in my phone that I thought lived within 2 hours of Lubbock or Amarillo. Because to me, this was an opportunity to meet the guy who was my mentor that I looked up to and that had everything in life that I wanted to get. And he was coming to Lubbock for me and coming to Amarillo for me. And so I just thought, well, if I let him down, if I don't get people to these meetings, he's never coming back. And he told me. And see, Mike kept it real. And that's my style is like that too. And he told me straight up, he said, Wes, if you don't have a good turnout at these meetings, if you don't get a bunch of people in the room, this is your shot. I'm not coming back. I'm not driving 6 hours to Amarillo. And he drove because we were doing Lubbock and Amarillo, or he would have flown. He goes, I'm not going to drive 6 hours and then another 2 hours down, 2.5 down to Lubbock from Amarillo. I'm not going to do that if you're not going to fill the room, if you're not going to pack the room. So when we started those meetings, and this was back in my very first company, so this was back in 2004, before we started World Ventures. And in those first two meetings, I had over 50 people at each one of them. We did the meeting in Amarillo at a place, a little redneck steakhouse called the Golden Corral. Okay. And I can remember it like it was yesterday. This was in 2004. Okay. And the room in the Golden Corral that we did it in held about, was a long table. I can still see it, probably 20, maybe 25. And what I did, because I wanted to make it pop, I wanted to make sure that it was going to happen and it was going to be packed. I mean, and a Golden Corral was a buffet, right? So it wasn't like, I mean, I say like redneck steakhouse. It's the Golden Corral buffet. This is like a small town thing. Those of you that are from small towns, you probably know Golden Corral. But it was like a buffet, and it was like $15 or something, right? I told everybody I would buy your dinner, meet me. This is super important. My mentor, uber successful, coming in from Dallas. I need you at the Golden Corral on Sunday night, okay? And there were like 50 people that showed up. So we had to have them bring in extra tables and kind of squeeze them in around the room. And that meeting in Amarillo went from the very first time that Mike came in at Golden Corral with maybe, I don't know, 45 people. Within 3 months, we were having a Thursday night meeting at it, and we had to obviously move out of Golden Corral, but we were having Thursday night meetings with 400 guests. We had one meeting. I had to rent the Amarillo Civic Center, and we had almost 800 people at an opportunity presentation in 2004. I put in almost 200 people from Amarillo in one meeting on the Friday after that Thursday night event where we had almost 800 people. The news came, and it all started with me offering to buy people a $15 buffet at the Golden Corral because I saw it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I took action. I called everyone in my phone. I did not stop. I did not set the phone down. I called until he got to Amarillo because he told me to do it, and I did it, and it worked for me. And within 8 months in that business, I was the #3 income earner in that company. In my very first experience ever in network marketing, I was making almost $30,000 a month in 8 months. And it was all from Amarillo. And then Lubbock did well also, but it didn't take off as much as Amarillo. But here's the thing. I just did what he told me to do. So what is in front of you right now in the next 36 hours? How many people can you invite? Because see, here's the problem. Because probably the most you've ever had on a Zoom call before is probably one guest or two guests. Maybe somebody's on here that's had three. In fact, why don't we just keep it real really quick? Everybody type in the chat, what is the most guests that you've personally had of your own guests on a single Zoom that we've done. Just type the number. It's no need to be ashamed, no need to be embarrassed. If it's one, if it's two, some of you it may be zero. I mean, some of you may be brand new or you maybe haven't. Go ahead and type it. I see 2, 3, 5, 6, 3. My guess is for most people, it's probably 2, 3. Here's 1, 2, 4, 3. And so, what I want you to think about is that you've got 36 hours. We all have the same 36 hours. Now, me personally, this week, I put in 5 personals this week myself, amongst doing all of the other roles and responsibilities and things that I have to do for the company and the meetings and the vendors and suppliers and I'm going to the 2 biggest travel trade shows in the world, one in Vegas and one in London in the next 6 weeks, planning travel trips, meetings. I've got meetings with vendors, suppliers, technology providers. And I still put in 5 personals this week. I'm going to invite all weekend for this call tomorrow night because I'm giving away the trip. So I want this is selfish of me, but this is the way I'm looking at it. If I'm paying for the trip, I want one of my friends to win the trip. I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for me to get one of my friends. I'm giving away the trip. Why would you not take this upon yourself and think selfishly? Like, whose life could you change with this trip tomorrow? I mean, if you got 10 people on there, you could win the trip yourself, but one of your 10 could win, right? And the thing is that I bet you somebody is going to take this message that I just shared with you, and the fact that if you get one person that you've personally enrolled to sign up for the Bahamas, we announced that this last week. So you had to have signed them up this week. Okay, so let me just clarify. There was some confusion in how it was promoted and explained, but this is the promotion. We were initially 2 weeks ago, we said if you get 2 of your personals to come to the Atlantis with you, so you have to book it first, you have to get 2 of your personals to go, we'll give you $100 for each one. So we'll give you $200 in travel dollars that you can use to finish paying your deposit. But then last Sunday, we announced if you get somebody to sign up this week, not somebody that's already signed up, it was a contest this week to get somebody to sign up to the Atlantis. Of course, you have to book yours. So you book yours, you get somebody to book. We're going to give you $200 for just getting one person to go with you. So you're basically getting 20% off of our already 50% discount. So now you're getting 70% off, okay? And you get $200 deposited immediately as soon as you book your trip and you've got one of your personals booked. All you have to do is do a support request, and we're going to put $200 in your account. A couple people did it this week. So congrats to them for doing that. But that was what we announced last Sunday. That contest is going to continue while we still have rooms. So if there's still rooms to book, they could literally be ripped down, taken down at any time. So the Atlantis could tell us no more. We've already had to release the rooms, so now they can take them back. And so you still have a little bit of time to get somebody on the trip with you, to register for yourself. And so you can get $200 back. You could potentially win a free trip tomorrow night. But you have the easiest, simplest, most guaranteed invite you've ever had. So there's going to be somebody on this training or that watches it later today, because we're going to put it up as soon as we're done here. And I'm about to turn things over to Denson, but I wanted to talk about the power of this, okay? Because I am convinced that you can get every person that you personally call this weekend in the next 36 hours onto this Zoom tomorrow night. I'm convinced. No one is going to turn down a free trip to the Atlantis. People used to always ask me, Wes, how do you get so many guests to the meetings? You know what my answer was? This is the God's honest truth. This is how I got so many people to meetings. I bribed them. I bribed people to come to meetings. You know how I did it? I did all my meetings after a certain time at restaurants, just like Golden Corral. And so I bribed people with meal. Instead of saying, hey, I want to come see this travel thing. I want you to get signed up for this club. Oh, my club is so awesome. My travel company is so awesome. I've saved so much money. You got to see it. You got to check it out. Here's my website. Here's all the stuff. I never did any of that. I just simply said, hey, let me buy you drinks on Tuesday night. We're doing an event in DFW. A new event in DFW is starting Tuesday because Thursdays have gone so well. So we're doing Tuesday at a high-end Mexican place. We have the entire private room reserved in Dallas. So if you know somebody in Dallas, if you can get a guest to the Dallas meeting, I will buy their first drink. on Tuesday night. I don't want to get people drunk, especially, coming from the company, but I will buy their first drink. And so we're also going to have some appetizers. So have some chips and queso. It's an awesome Mexican place. And so if you have a guest coming Tuesday night to Videra in Addison, there's 2 locations. We're doing it in Addison, and we'll post it in the Facebook group. I'll make sure you see it. Or Thursday night, I have a new girl that I just signed up this week. She's using the Thursday night event at the Foundation Room this Thursday as her launch event. She's already got 7 guests confirmed. Her goal is 20. Okay. So there's going to be people that are going to use this meeting tomorrow night to launch them into the week. If you've got people in DFW, anywhere around 2 hours of Dallas, get them to come meet with me on Tuesday or Thursday. I'm doing both of those meetings. I will buy their first drink at the Foundation Room on Thursday. If you send a guest and you cannot be there, I will buy their first drink on Tuesday night at Videra. Just send me a message. You can message me on Instagram, or you can text me if you have my number. And you have bribery tomorrow night at its finest with a $2,000. Remember, this is an over $2,000 vacation. We're giving away a $2,000 vacation tomorrow night to the most famous resort in the world. All they have to do is show up. They have to be 21. That's an Atlantis rule. There has to be an adult 21 or older in every room. That's their rule, not mine. Okay? So you have bribery at its finest. How do you get everybody to come? How do you guarantee people show up? How do you guarantee people don't forget or flake out? Give them free stuff. Offer to buy them dinner. Offer to buy them drinks. Get them onto the free trip Zoom tomorrow night. That's the easiest way to do it. So I bet you there's going to be somebody, like I'm going to do over the next 36 hours. I'm going to pack the call because I'm giving the trip away. I'm paying for it. So I selfishly want one of the people that I would love to have with me in the Bahamas. I want one of them to win. So I'm going to get as many people on there as I can tomorrow night. But there's going to be somebody on here who watches this training who's going to listen to exactly what I just taught you. And they're going to have 20 or 30 people. I'm convinced that there will be someone on that Zoom tomorrow night that has over 20 guests. Because when my mentor came to Amarillo, I had 45, 50 people at one meeting. I invited all of them. I was the only member there. I was the only rep. I invited all of them. My parents, my cousins, aunts, uncles, my coaches that I played basketball and football for in high school. I had my old principal there. I had our mail carrier. I mean, everybody I knew. And here's what's crazy. You want to hear something else that's crazy? A woman who became one of my top builders, top recruiters, was actually at that meeting because she was my family's hairdresser. She cut everybody's hair. She lived in Amarillo. This was back in 2004. She had a massive team. She had never done network marketing before. I think she probably was up to, I don't know, she may even be on here. She was up to like 5,000 a month, probably, maybe more. She's not on here right now. She was on the training last week. She's one of the ones that I signed up this week. And so she lives in Wisconsin now. She's put in her first couple of sales this week. And that came from that same meeting back in 2004. I hadn't talked to her in 15 years, but I called her this week because I'm recruiting. I'm leading by example. I'm doing the exact same things I'm teaching you to do. And so my goal is for you to get everything that you want to get from this opportunity, from this business. And I want you to realize what you have your hands on and how many lives can be changed. And I challenge you to not have stinking thinking, to not think having 2 guests is a lot. Having 3 guests is not a lot. Having 5 guests is not a lot. Having 6 guests is not a lot. I didn't see anybody, I don't think, that had more than 6. So that's not a lot. You could literally call everybody in your phone. Everybody on this training could call every number in the next 36 hours on your phone. I mean, I have 6,000 contacts. I could probably still call through most of them. And I plan on doing it. So, I may have 20 or 30 on there tomorrow night. And so that's the potential that you have. This is a guarantee. This is, if you get a hold of them, they are going to be on this Zoom. You're not going to have this opportunity every day. And this could be the biggest Zoom we've ever had. We could have 1,000 people on here. If everybody here, I mean, we've got 50 people on here. If everybody's goal on here was to have 20 people tomorrow night, we don't even need the rest of the company. We could have 1,000 people on the Zoom tomorrow night if everybody on this training got 20 people and you've got 36 hours. You know that's only a half a person an hour that you have to confirm. Think about it like that. Now, granted, you're going to be sleeping for part of those hours, but think about it that way. I mean, I love taking numbers that seem big, seem unreachable. And if you just break it down, like 20 people, 36 hours. And so the time tomorrow night is the regular Zoom call, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And you can use that special Zoom link that I have to set up as soon as we're off of here. I'll set it up while Denson's doing his part because he's coming on now. But it'll be free trip Zoom. So use that because it's catchy and we're giving away the free trip tomorrow night. It's the same. You can also use the other same link. It'll be the same meeting. So zoomviproom.com, the regular link. But for those of you that are on this training, you want an extra little help, use freetripzoom.com because that's catchy. And we own that domain. And so you can use that to get them registered for tomorrow night. When they hit that link, I've already set it up. It says that we're giving away the Bahamas trip. They've got to be 21. The disclaimers are on there. They have to be present. They have to be on when the call starts, and they have to be on. We'll cut off the registration when I start the presentation, and they have to be present to win. They have to be there at the end when we give it away. So all bets are off. This could be the biggest night in company history. This could be your biggest night in your Bryte Lyfe career if you just follow through. And if you just cared enough to make people feel invited and included and make people feel like you wanted to spend a weekend with them in the Bahamas at the most magical place on earth. I know Disney says it's the most magical place on earth, but I've been to Disney, and for parents, Disney is not the most magical place on earth. I don't want to say what it really is for parents when you take small children, but it is definitely not magical. Okay. But what's that, Denson?
Real quick, do this for me, okay? Because this has been great today. And guys, you have to understand activity is what creates results ultimately. Okay. That's what Wes is teaching you guys. We've got to get the activity up. But Wes, for the person, just so they're clear, okay, what is their real incentive for putting 20 people? Explain the rules of the contest. Like, I know when you invite somebody, tell them the advantage. Okay, of course, they'll get 2,000 in travel dollars as well if they hook up 20 people, but
sure,
with the contest.
Yeah, so the way it's going to work is the only way a member is going to be entered into the drawing tomorrow night for the trip is to have a guest on the call. So the way we're going to do this is, in fact, I'm not going to tell you how we're going to track it, but the only way a member will go into the drawing tomorrow night, we have a way of tracking this, is to get a guest on the call. So for each guest, and it's got to be a separate household. So, I know this is, I'm preaching to the choir. None of you would do this, but it's got to be an adult. It's got to be one per household. So you can't have a husband and wife get on 2 different Zooms and try to double your chances. It's the honor system. But for every guest from a separate household that you have on the Zoom tomorrow night, you get an additional chance. So a guest can only get 1 chance into the drawing. So you're at a massive advantage. And that's why I said, and here, I'm telling you guys this now, all of you, okay? And we use Spin the Wheel. It's an independent website. I'm telling Eva to put me in the wheel tomorrow night. I am competing against you guys because I'm making the calls, I'm making the invites, and so I want my trip paid for too because I'm paying for my trip. So I'm competing against you guys because I'm not going to tell you to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. And so that's how you get into the drawing. So the more guests you have on the Zoom tomorrow night, the more chances you get. And I would love to see one of you really crush it tomorrow night. And we will highlight you. We'll give you shout outs. Whoever has the most guests tomorrow night, or if we have several people that have 10 or 15 or 20 or 25 guests tomorrow night, we will shout you out. We will shout you out in the Facebook groups. We will recognize you this week. So your team is going to see that you are leading by example. And so you've got a lot of opportunities. And this is a guarantee. People say, how can I guarantee somebody will listen to Bryte Lyfe? How can I guarantee they'll show up at a meeting? Bribe them. Always remember, it's not a secret. I'm very proud of the fact that I bribe people. I buy my guests drinks at the Foundation Room every week in Dallas. If they're my guests and it's their first time, I am buying their drinks. I have another guy that I just signed up this week. Signed him up at the Foundation Room. Then he had his first two guests. He took me to play golf on Thursday, and now he has his first two sales. I signed him up. I met him at one of our meetings that we did in Frisco several months ago. That's where I met him, and we just got him signed up this last week, and he's already got his first two signed up. I went and played golf with him. He asked me to come play golf with two of his prospects, and we talked about Bryte Lyfe the entire round of golf, and now they're signed up, and now they've got me wanting to come play golf with some of their friends to sign their friends up. All you got to do is be yourself. Just be yourself. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, so anybody that gets 20 guests on will have 20 entries for the free trip.
That's right.
Okay, perfect, good deal. Well, Wes, we really appreciate that. And guys, I'm not gonna hold you much longer, but it is something that I want to go through really quickly here because the bottom line is this, okay? It is activity that creates results, and you have to, with the absence of activity, you don't even have an opportunity for anything to happen. And you have to understand something, okay? Some will, some won't. So what next? All we're doing is sorting. We're just getting through to the right people. And I would have you guys look at social media this way. Whenever you put a post out, like I did a post last week and I got a tremendous response on 160 likes, 80 comments, but each one of those likes is a soft prospect. Okay, but Wes made a great point. If I've got that person's, somebody that liked that post, if I've got that person's number in my phone, guess what? I'm going to call them today and say, look, you liked one of my posts last week. I really appreciate it. We're giving away a free trip to the Bahamas. Get on this webinar so you can see exactly what we're doing. Okay, period. And just, look at every like that you get on a post as a prospect that you need to contact. And then if somebody comments, then, of course, you can contact that person as well. Now, you can also, in a post, you can also do a direct message, a DM with that person. But if they're anything like me, that direct message, that DM may go a month without them taking a look at it. So again, if you've got their number in your phone, you want to go on and get with that person. But guys, again, think about, and this even makes it more of a no-brainer, but think about what we have here. Our loyalty reward program can drive this company to $1 billion company because the bottom line is when you set your app up, you're going to tell us your top 10 bucket list destinations from the top 50 destinations in the world. And if you maintain your membership, you're going to get a free guaranteed 5-star 4-day 3-night hotel stay for two people. And, we're talking what, $1,000 per night brands. Now, you just saw the video to show that again. But guys, this is our auto ship. That's what you have to understand. In other companies that we've been involved in, we had to buy $100, $150, $200 per month in product. Well, what Wes is giving you is a $3,000 to $5,000 trip. The one that to the Maldives is a $5,000 trip. So if you were paying for that every month, that would be what, $400. Okay, just like in any health and wellness company, if you were buying those products retail, it might be $400 to $500 a month, $400 a month. You're getting it wholesale at $200 a month. Well, that's the same thing here, guys. But the only difference here is you refer to, you get it free, and you refer to and you qualify for the entire comp plan. Now, that's that. We don't have to spend a lot of time on that. But, whether we've got a contest going on or not, okay, it's an unbelievable deal. And the thing you have to understand is this. Get good at asking whatever question you're going to ask. Do you like traveling and making money? Because guess what? For most people, unless they're very cynical and very negative, they're going to say yes. And if they are cynical and negative, guess what? You don't want those people around you. Well, I like an if I could, would you proposition. If I could show you a way to get a guaranteed 5-star trip for free, would you want to know about it? And look, tomorrow night, You just tell a person, I'm sending you a link to a private webinar. And on this webinar, we're giving away a free stay at the Bahamas, okay, at the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, and send them freetripzoom.com. It says it all. And look at this. Right now, and this is something that Wes didn't mention, but it's very significant, especially for where we are right now. Travel dollars just went to an immediate daily payout. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that if you get 20 people on the webinar tomorrow night, and let's say 10 of them see it and they hook up, you're going to earn a free hotel stay, which is $1,000 in travel dollars. You can immediately pay for the Bahamas with that. You're free life qualified. That's worth another $21.48 a year. And you're going to get, you're qualified at $300 in monthly residual income, which is worth $3,600 a year. Guys, that's over $7,000 in value. Okay, over $7,000 in value. So I would just tell you, take Wes up on this, get as many people on that webinar as you can, and use the free trip to the Bahamas, as bait. Because if you've not been to the Bahamas, guys, this is, in fact, I'm going to show you guys an AI video that I put together, I had done on the Bahamas. So check this out on the Atlantis. Let's see if this pulls up here. All right, it's coming. All right, here we go. I tell you what, I know what the problem is. All right, I gotta turn my video off. This is a very short video here. Hang on a sec.
Atlantis Paradise Island is a resort in the Bahamas known for its luxurious accommodations and extensive water park. Here are some interesting facts about the Atlantis. Atlantis is a themed resort. Atlantis is designed with a mythological theme, drawing inspiration from the legendary lost city of Atlantis. Atlantis has the ultimate water park. The resort features one of the largest water parks in the Caribbean, called Aquaventure, which includes water slides, a lazy river, and multiple pools. Marine habitat. Atlantis has a massive marine habitat with over 50,000 marine animals, including sharks, stingrays, and various fish species. Atlantis has luxury accommodations. The resort offers a range of accommodations from standard rooms to lavish suites, including the iconic Royal Towers. Dining options. Atlantis boasts numerous dining options, including restaurants by celebrity chefs like Nobu Matsuhisa and Jose Andres. Casino. The resort features a large casino, one of the largest in the Caribbean, offering various gaming options. Cultural experiences. Atlantis hosts cultural events and activities, including art exhibits and traditional Bahamian performances. Sustainability efforts. The resort is involved in conservation efforts, focusing on marine life preservation and sustainable tourism practices. Accessibility. Atlantis is easily accessible from Nassau, the capital of the Bahamas, and is a popular destination for both tourists and cruise ship passengers. Famous events. The resort hosts various events throughout the year, including music festivals and sporting events. Atlantis Paradise Island is a blend of luxury, adventure, and natural beauty, making it a standout destination in the Bahamas. In Bryte Lyfe, we travel the world, have fun, and make money. We sponsor a trip every quarter coupled with relaxation as well as motivation. This is our next destination we are experiencing as a group, and we want you to enjoy it with us. Ask how we can help you get this trip paid for by our company. Let's travel, have fun, and make money.
So who's with us? Look, guys, why are you here? You're here to travel more, make money. I mean, that's what it's all about, to elevate your lifestyle, but you have to make it happen. Some of you all have always wanted to go to the Atlantis. Now is an opportunity, not only for you to get it at a fraction of the price, but for you to have it paid for by, again, just putting people on this webinar tomorrow night. And think about this. Let's say you go through your phone, because we've always had people make lists out where your list is already in your phone. You're making the call from your phone. It's almost like when we started network marketing, having, lists that was already in our rotary phone, Wes, that, all we got to do is press a button and it would dial the number. Guys, that's kind of what you have here. And the bottom line is this: your goal really should be to put 20 people in this week, so you'll have your stay paid for. And Wes, I want you to come back on and tell everybody what you're doing with airfare, okay? Because this is very, very significant. And I know you mentioned it briefly, but this is very significant, guys. You can make it 100% free.
That's right. So what we've done is we've allowed you to use your travel dollars to be reimbursed for your airfare. For those of you that don't know, the way the travel dollars work normally, if you book a hotel through the app, you're reimbursed the following Friday. So if you book before Wednesday, that same Friday, you're reimbursed. So you pay with your card. At the point of sale, you have to select how many travel dollars you want to use, and then you're reimbursed that Friday. But for any Bryte Lyfe trips like the Bahamas and Bryte Lyfe events and tickets, you can use the travel dollars directly from your account. So that means that you don't have to pay out of your own pocket. You can just literally pull them out of your travel dollars account for the Bahamas trip, for the tickets. And then if you have more travel dollars that you want to use for airfare, just book your flight, submit a support request asking to be reimbursed for your flight to the Bahamas, and we will take that out of your travel dollars and reimburse you the exact same way you're reimbursed for hotels. So this is a one-time thing that we're doing. For those of you that are actively recruiting, or maybe you've banked your travel dollars and you want to use them for your flights, we're allowing you to use the travel dollars so you can book your airfare and then be reimbursed out of your travel dollars the following Friday.
So Wes, you're telling me that if I can put 30 people on this webinar tomorrow, if I get 20 members hooked up, it'll be 2,000 the very next day in travel dollars, and I could go on and pay for everything.
That's right. And it's real time. So you can use that money. It never has to leave your bank account. And then if you pay for your trip and you want to book your airfare, you just book it. Let's say you do it on that Monday, the following day. So tomorrow you get your 20 sales. Monday, you can book your flights. And then Friday, you will have that money deposited into your Pay Quicker account. So you'll literally only be without the money. If you book it on your credit card, you'll have it before your bill even comes in. So no money out of pocket.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, look, take advantage of it because, this deal just got even better with this training because, it wasn't this way when, we first started the company. It wasn't this way a month ago. But right now, this is the way that it works. And with this particular trip, being able to apply travel dollars to get your flight reimbursed. And if you do that, Wes, by Wednesday, then it'll show up in Pay Quicker on Friday. Is that right?
That's correct. So you'll
Okay.
be
All right.
reimbursed.
Perfect.
Any
So there you have it, guys.
use travel dollars for reimbursement, it has to be done because we initiate the payments to Pay Quicker on Wednesday. So we initiate it on Wednesday, it gets to them on Thursday, and then that way it's always released to everyone on Fridays. That's how we do our commission runs. So it works the same way.
Yeah, and really, you guys need to have that in by Tuesday because this is a little bit of a different process from you booking a hotel through the app because you need to send the receipt in, and they'll need time. I'm imagining to take that receipt, and apply it to where you get your travel dollars back. But guys, that's a big deal. So again, use this. And just understand that new blood, all of us need new blood in our businesses. So let's take Wes up on this challenge.
Hey, I've got one thing I wanted to show you, Denson. I mentioned earlier I'm gonna just share my screen here. I just did this search just now, and a lot of you that live in the South, and this is just one example, okay? But I just did a search for airfare right now, and there is a flight on JetBlue from Atlanta for $373. Okay? So you can leave and be there in the afternoon on the day of, so you can leave in the morning and be there by 4, and you can leave in the evening so you get the full time in the Bahamas. Normally those flights, the ones early in the morning and that leave late at night, are the ones that are more expensive because they know people want to leave later. when they're leaving, and whenever they're going, they want to go early so they can get to the beach. And so this puts you in right after check-in, $373. I think half this call is probably within driving distance to Atlanta. So you're talking about, I mean, you're gonna get, if you get one of your people to go with you to the Bahamas. Also, Denson didn't mention that again, but I told you at the beginning that's an extra 200. So you could sign up two tomorrow night, get one of them to go to the Bahamas. You're going to get 200 for signing them up. Then you're going to get another 200 for getting one of them to go to the Bahamas with you, join you there, one of your personals. That's 400. That just paid for your flight. And you can use the travel dollars to be reimbursed. So you don't have to pay for anything. You just get to the Bahamas. If you could just invite over the next 36 hours, I mean, I think half this call is within a drive of Atlanta. So, and I did some searches out of New York as well, and there were some flights that were $300-400 on JetBlue. There were some flights out of Florida that were $300. I saw a Bahamas Air flight from. I was just searching just some random cities to see what was available for our dates, and there were some. I saw one flight I think out of Orlando or Tampa. It was like $280. No excuse.
Wow.
I
And
mean,
not to mention, guys, events build businesses. You cannot replace number one, the event's going to take people to another level. But when they go to a place like this and you walk out and you see those $100+ million yachts and you experience everything that the Atlantis has to offer, it just does something. I mean, Wes, doesn't it take it from the head to the heart? How would you describe that?
absolutely. I mean, the events are what build the culture. And if you get people on this trip, if you get them there, they are going to be bought in, they're going to be committed, they'll never quit. I mean, we have members that have been to all of our trips since we launched last year. This is the thing that really sets it apart from everybody else, because there's a lot of companies that say they're a travel company. We're not a travel company. We're a lifestyle and experiences company. I mean, they're not going to the Atlantis. None of these other companies are taking their people to the Atlantis. They're going and staying at 3-star hotels in Cabo with foam parties that the rooms are dated, and the beach, you can't even get in the water. I mean, most people don't know. I mean, when you go to Cabo, it's like one of our competitors just did a trip to Cabo. You know that the beaches there are flagged. You can't even get into the water. Can't even get into the water in Cabo. Most of the beaches are black flagged. They're flagged, red flagged. You can't get in the water. I had a friend when I was in college, he drowned on spring break in Cabo. You don't get into the water in Cabo. Most of those beaches are not safe because it's where the Sea of Cortez meets the Pacific, and it creates massive churn, the undertows, and so our competitors are not taking people to the Atlantis. Okay, they're taking people to 3-star hotels. They're taking them to places that you don't really want to go to. We're trying to blow people's minds with once in a lifetime magical experiences. It's what we've done. Denson has bragged about it. Thank you, Denson, for always saying, because I don't want you guys to go to a place that I wouldn't be excited to go to. And unfortunately, because I've been to over 70 countries and I've been to all the best places, I'm only going to take you guys to the best places. So you want to lock your team in, you want to grow your business, you want to create some FOMO from all the people that you've been trying to get on meetings and get to Zooms and sign up and recruit. What better way to be, nanny boo boo, like, look at me, I'm at the Atlantis. Are you talking about it, or are you actually doing it? See, because that's the thing.
Wes,
If you're trying to recruit me for a travel company or an opportunity that's lifestyle, is your lifestyle changing? Are you doing things different? Are your friends noticing where you're going? Because I promise you, when you're posting from the Atlantis, people are going to be like, whoa, they really are part of something. How are you going to the Atlantis? You've never been to the Atlantis before. How did you do that? How did you afford that? That becomes the questions. This is the best advertising you could ever get.
Oh yeah, and Wes, like I've got one of my sisters on today, Kim Goss, and Kim, when we first started this, she was like, "Man, I've always wanted to go to the Bahamas. I've always wanted to go to the Atlantis. That's my dream." And Kim, I know like you got a lot going on right now. You moving back into your house. They just moved their office. They've got a chiropractic business. But you know what, Kim? You need a vacation right now. So this is your opportunity to load this webinar up tomorrow night. And sometimes, guys, you have to make the commitment to your own hopes and dreams. If you got involved here to elevate your lifestyle, you can't just keep putting it off, right? You got to make yourself a priority at some point, period, point blank. Because guess what? The time that you're in the Bahamas is going to pass just like the time that you do everything else. So take the time for yourself and make it a priority, period, point blank. Now, you guys are going to love this. Any Tyler Perry fans, okay, if you want to see exactly where we're going to be and some great shots of exactly where we're going to be in the Royal Tower, his latest movie on Netflix, it's called Destination Wedding. His latest movie on Netflix was done in the Royal Tower. Wes, I don't know if you saw that or not, but it's exactly where we are going to be. It's exactly where we were last time that we went. So don't let that, though, be the only time that you go to the Atlantis, okay? If you want to see exactly where we're going to be, go watch that movie and then get your trip booked so you will be in the movie, okay? So, Wes, that's all that I have, man.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that that Denson just mentioned, that we're staying in the Royal Tower, that is the tower that's in the photo behind Denson right now. So those two towers with the bridge suite across the middle, that is the Royal Tower. And so that's the best rooms at the Atlantis. There's other towers. Last year, when we went in January or this beginning of this year, we stayed in the Coral Tower, which is awesome. It's nice, but it's not as nice as the Royal Tower. It's not the best location. The Royal Tower is the epicenter. It's the center of the slides. It's the center of the water park. It's the center of the marina, all those yachts that are behind Denson. It's where the casino is. It's where the nightclub is. It's where the buffet is. It is where everybody wants to stay. The Royal Tower is it. And it's almost twice as expensive as the Coral Tower. And what's crazy is we're doing this trip for less than what we did the Coral Tower for. So, I mean, you're not ever getting to the Atlantis and staying in the Royal Tower for a lower price than we're going for this trip. So this is your shot. So as they say, shoot your shot. Let's see you at the Atlantis. Let's see you guys on here tomorrow night.
Isn't that where Michael Jackson used to stay when he went to the Bahamas?
Michael Jackson, Oprah, and Michael Jordan have all stayed in that bridge suite right there. Michael Jordan did his celebrity golf tournament. This is one room. There's also a movie that you should watch this weekend for some motivation while you're inviting Pierce Brosnan and Woody Harrelson, and I believe Selma Hayek. It is a crime. He's a thief, and that takes place, that movie, in the Bridge Suite and in the Royal Tower as well. I think it's called After the Sunset, I believe. This movie's been out for a while. But Denson, if you could search that really quick, put Pierce Brosnan Atlantis movie. And they filmed that movie in the Bridge Suite, and that movie was shot at the Atlantis. And so you've got an opportunity to stay. So I actually played in the Michael Jordan Celebrity Golf Tournament. I was invited. I've been going to the Atlantis for years. And Michael Jordan has said publicly, number one, it's his favorite golf course, Ocean Club, the golf course at the Atlantis. So for those of you that want to play golf as a hotel guest, you get a discount on the golf. So we have a discounted rate for golf. If you want to play, it is a little pricey. It's not pricey compared to a lot of golf courses, but I think our discounted green fee for that weekend is $295 for the round. And they do rent clubs. The club rentals, I think, are about $75 because every time I've played it, I've rented clubs. I've never taken my clubs to the Bahamas. Just don't want to hassle with it. So you can rent clubs. You pay the green fee. We get a discounted rate for our group if you want to play. And if any of you are interested in playing, shoot me a message. I might play. So shoot me a message if you're interested in playing. It's Michael Jordan's favorite golf course. So every year, Michael Jordan would do this celebrity golf invitational. The casino would invite guests. So I was invited. And it's half of the course is on the water on Paradise Island. It's next to Ocean Club, which is on the same island as the Atlantis. And so it's Michael Jordan's favorite golf course. Now he's built his own like ultra private course. But that course, almost every hole you can see the ocean. It's crazy. I've never seen another course like it.
What does that
And
cost to
so
be a
Michael
member?
Jordan has stayed in that room multiple times. That's always where he stayed when he went in. He did his golf tournament every year for years. This started 20 years ago, and I've been going there ever since. I've been there with Christian Leitner, Eddie Jones when they used to play for the Heat. I flew over on Chalk's seaplane on the water planes. They used to land right behind the Atlantis 20 years ago. And so I played dice and blackjack with Christian Leitner, Eddie Jones, Gary Payton. A lot of guys used to go over there on the All-Star break, all the NBA guys. I see athletes. Oh, I played blackjack with Evan Longoria, who was an All-Star, probably will wind up in the Hall of Fame in Major League Baseball, play for the Rays. But Evan Longoria, I played with him. I've sat next to numerous celebrities, professional athletes. I mean, I could go, oh, Mike Tyson, saw him there. I mean, the Atlantis is the Atlantis for a reason. I've seen the Chainsmokers there. I've seen Maroon 5 there. I saw Beyonce there. Doja Cat. I've been to all the concerts. Nelly was there 2 years ago for New Year's. I mean, it's the spot. It's the place. So you deserve to be there too. In my book, all of you on this Zoom right now are as cool as all of those people. And it is called After the Sunset. That's crazy that I remembered that. But that's the Atlantis is my place. So it's called After the Sunset on Netflix. Go watch it for some extra motivation, but make sure you're inviting while you're watching it. You'll get motivated to be there. That half that movie was filmed at the Atlantis. And so thank you guys so much for being on here. Thank you, Denson, as always, for bringing the heat this morning. We are going to get this up. The link is already live. You can go to freetripzoom.com. I've already got it forwarded. And so it is live and available for you. And so make sure you get on the corporate call tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. We've got the Zoom link is live. We'll have the corporate call tomorrow night with a very special vendor announcement for tomorrow night. So we've got something special for you tomorrow night. So make sure you get your team on there. And let's invite. How many of you are going to have over 20 people on there tomorrow night? Let's get 1,000 people on the Zoom. I think we can do it. I really believe we can. I believe in all of you. Let's do it. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you so much for tuning in. This will be posted within the hour. So share this link with everybody on your team. Let's get them to watch this and see what you've got your hands on this weekend. And I hope to see all of you get registered for the Atlantis. I want to see you all there. I want this to be the best vacation, the best trip experience you've ever had in your life. We'll see you there tomorrow night.